So I want to talk for just a few minutes about student-led conferences. We skipped these last year, so we're making a return to student-led conferences this year. The conference date is Thursday afternoon, March 25th, and Friday all day, March 26th. So we're about 4 weeks away from student-led conferences. You can find the two documents I'm going to show you in just a minute. You can find right here on your advisory homepage on Walker Web. So if you want to go back to these things, they're right up there for you. For student-led conferences, we're asking you to do 4 things this year, or for your conference to include 4 things. So that is a reflection on what this last year has been like for you, which I'll talk about. Again, I'll talk about all of these in a little depth here in just a second. We're asking you to include comments from your teachers. We're asking you to include your schedule request for next year. This is for 9th and 11th graders, the conferences. And we're asking you to set some goals for the future. So the way we are asking you to do this, at its simplest, I've made a Google Slides template that when you click on this link here, or click on the link on your advisory page, it will ask you to make a copy in your own Google Drive. But you can present this way and this information in any way that makes sense for you. So you can use these slides right here that I've made, or you can write something or make a video or use a Prezi, whatever you want to do. You've got free reign, but everybody can kind of base themselves in these Google Slides. So let me show you this. So your virtual portfolio will contain those 4 things I just talked about. In your reflections on last year, I want you to think about 3 things that have gone really well for you and list them right here. To think about 3 things that have really been challenging for you. To share something that you're really proud of. So you can include videos or pictures here or schoolwork. In this last year, since we started the pandemic, what's something that you've done that you're really proud of? What have you learned about yourself in this last year? So that's kind of the reflection piece. If you want to include any examples of previous work, you can, I made a slide for you here that is optional, it's not required. In past years, we've required you to include this. This year, we're giving you a little flexibility. Similarly, if you want to include the work-life balance scorecard, there's a link to that, and that'll help you use some tools to look at how your whole, wake up to bedtime and sleep is working all together, and the things you're doing and if they're important for you. So you've got an option to use that. I think that's a really great tool. You've got a space to include comments from your teachers. You might have seen some teachers are already emailing you your comments. You'll continue to get those through March 19th. That's when they're due for your teachers. And I want you to copy your comments right here into a slide. You might need multiple slides, so you can add slides if you need or duplicate this slide. There's a template linked here to use for your schedule request. You'll work on that with your advisor. And then the last thing is setting some goals for you for next year or for 4th quarter, whichever you want to do. When we talk about goal setting, you might have heard the acronym SMART goals. That's goals that are specific, measurable, attainable, relevant, and timely. And one of the things I learned in my grad school work, simple format for writing goals is this one. By X date, I'll accomplish Y through the following means Z. So here's an example. By student-led conferences or by the end of the school year, I will develop the habit of 5 minutes of Spanish vocab review every night. In order to meet this goal, I'm going to set an alarm for 8:15 on my phone, and whatever I'm doing when it goes off, I'm going to stop and work on my Spanish right then. Also, when you think about goal setting, think about things that are kind of easier goals or kind of shorter term goals, and then think about things that are longer term or harder goals. And these can be in any realm of your life. So academics, extracurricular, personal life, but you will be sharing them with your parents and your advisor. And so then there's a spot for you to put an attainable goal, a stretch goal, and an ambitious goal. So that's what we're asking you to do. I'm going to talk just for a second here. I'm going to stop the share just to talk about the timeline. So this week and next week in advisory, you should be working on the reflection components. The week of the 15th, you'll start your scheduling meetings with your advisor, and you can work on your goal setting that week. The week of the 22nd, which is the week of conferences, you should be working on compiling your comments in, because they'll all be done by then. You should be finishing your goals, and you should be finalizing your presentation. We are going to be doing these conferences virtually, so on Zoom with your advisor, you and your parents. Also, and this is particularly for 11th graders, starting this week, please start coming to advisory, even if you have that last period free and you're signing out, and be in advisory for about that first half hour, and you can leave at 1:15, just to give you a chance to check in with your advisor. If you're fully remote, your advisors will be reaching out to you to set up some regular meeting times, roughly once a week, between here and conferences, just to make sure things are going the way you want them to do. So if you have any questions, feel free to ask your advisors or ask me. If you have any trouble with the documents, again, feel free to ask me. Other than that, really looking forward to student-led conferences.